I'm the Lost Mapper, and we are on day 4 of the 30-day map challenge. And today's theme is a bad map. This is interpreted a lot of different ways. I'm going to try and interpret it 2 ways. One, to make a map that's a little bit sloppy and maybe try to go the opposite direction of good choices. And 2, themed along the idea of something bad. So my decision, when I think of bad, I think of the band Big Audio Dynamite. And if we check out their Wikipedia page, I was thinking I would make a map of the birthplaces of the members of Big Audio Dynamite. And maybe we'll limit it to just the founding members, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Mick, Don, Dan, Leo, and Greg. Mick, Don, Dan, Leo, and Greg. Okay, so they all have pages. I'm going to open them up and find their birthplaces. Now, I did consider there's another Mick Jones from the band Foreigner who was born in a slightly different place in London, and I thought about putting that guy in the map, which would make it also bad because the data is bad. But I don't know. Maybe that's being too cheeky. All right, so he is born in Wandsworth, London. All right, so I want to keep track of these and not jump back and forth between Wikipedia and QGIS so much. So what I'm going to do, there's a plugin. There's a few ways I could do this, but I know that there's a plugin called QNote, and I'm going to install that one. And that'll let me take notes in a panel inside of QGIS. All right, so we've got, let's say, Mick Jones is here. We can make a bulleted list. Yes, fantastic. All right. And then Don Letts. No, don't want the formatting. Don Letts, born in London. All right, so I suspect they're all going to be born in London. Then we've got Daniel Donovan, born in London. And we've got Leo Williams. He was born in London. And Greg Roberts. He was born in London. All right. So we know where they all are born now. And I'm actually going to move this panel. Let's move it up here for now. Oh, come on. Why didn't it dock? There we go. Now we have it docked. We can refer to it without having to jump back to the browser. So to start, I'm going to add a OpenStreetMap layer just for reference. I guess I will zoom in. Actually, let's use the locator and look for London, England. And City of London. Okay. Cool. And the next thing I'd like to do is actually create a new layer to store where these people are born. I'm going to use a geopackage layer. The database will be stored in the project. Let's jump over to day 4, a bad map. And we'll just call this bad map. And the table is going to be birthplaces. Bring this down a little bit. And we're going to store points. There's only one each. The coordinate reference system, we're talking about London. This is probably not the greatest, but we're not making good choices. Okay, so, and then we're going to put the name of the person and add that to the table. All right, so now we actually want to start capturing where these folks were born. So let's see, if I search for London again, what is considered the sort of center of London? Right there. All right, right where that We're just going to say they were born right near Trafalgar Square. Trafalgar. I probably said that wrong. All right. Select my birthplaces layer. I'm going to click the pencil, and then I'm going to collect some points. And I'm going to put the 4 guys in London and then figure out where Wandsworth, London is. So I'm going to add a point. And this is going to be Don Letts. And then I'm going to add another point. I'm not really going to care if it's perfectly on the same place. Danielle Donovan. And click OK. I'm going to click again. Leo Williams. And a 4th one for Greg Roberts. And then let's use the locator to find Wandsworth, London. Borough. All right. So let's click on that. I'm going to see where that little circle was. And then I'm going to click there. And this will be Mick Jones. Great. And now if I zoom to that layer, I've got, I can't even see them, which maybe would make for a terrible map. But let's save these and then let's give them some sort of symbology. So these guys are rock stars. So let's use a star and let's make it kind of big. And let's make it, stars are yellow, right? There we go. Barely noticeable, but that's all right. And then what I'd like to do is I don't want to use OpenStreetMap as well. Maybe I should. All right, I'm going to stick with this because my initial thought was it's really hard to see things on this. And I'm just going to fight that. And then I'm going to add some labels for the names. Let's make these, I don't know, 20 point. And what happens if we add that? We've got Mick Jones. All right, so it's showing some of them and maybe not other ones. I zoom out just a little bit. And I'm thinking, oh, it's hard to read these. I'll add a buffer, but maybe we'll make it a little bit exaggerated. I'm going to get even stupider. Make it a little bit bigger. Okay. And we can't see the other guys' names. So 2 of them are missing, and that's likely because the placement is not allowing them to share the same space because they're all right next to each other. I believe there's a way to get it to do that better. Like we could use callouts. Let's try it with callouts, and I think that's actually making it look better. But let's see if we can't get everything to show. So yeah, so I'm using the label moving tool with callouts. It wants to know what ID to use to track the coordinates of the label along with the feature. So we're going to use feature ID or FID. All right, so we got this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. And we'll just make it a little bit. All right. Now we got all the names. It does look a little bit silly, especially since they're all in the same location. All right. I think that's good for now. And then I'm going to make a new print layout. And we'll call this landscape. Now at this zoom level, it's actually kind of informative of where they're from. What if I zoom out a bunch? Like, if we wanted to be really unhelpful, we would actually maybe zoom to the whole layer of OpenStreetMap. Maybe just get to a portion of that. where now you can't even see that McJones is born in a slightly different portion of London. What if we, yep, it's still all basically in the same place. I can't decide how bad I want this to be. Or maybe I'll go with this level of bad. So I'll remove these around a little bit again. And maybe bump up that star a little bit more. 12. And let's also, if we go into the marker, can I do any layer rendering? Let's draw some effects on these. Let's put some shadows. Outer shadows. Oh, no, a drop shadow. Let's do that. Make kind of ridiculous shadow on these. Hit OK. Fantastic. Looks bad. I want to fix it, but I'm going to leave it as is. Can we do the same thing on the labels? Can we put shadows on labels? Rendering shadow. There's a dedicated thing for it right there. And I'm also going to make these, let's make this 4 and 4. There we go. Now we have shadows. All right. That looks pretty blah. All right, let's head back to our layout, and I'm not even going to worry about the page size. I'm going to not care. Let's draw this thing, be kind of messy about it, and let's use the, what is this called again? Move item content. I always forget what that one's called. All right, that looks okay. Maybe not bad, but it looks okay. I'm gonna zoom on this a bit. And let's give this a title. And we're gonna call this, move myself out of the way, birthplaces of the founding members of Big Audio Dynamite. And I'm realizing if we want it to also look kind of bad, let's pick a hard to read font. There we go. This one looks kind of wonky. I'm even going to make it big enough where the bottom chops off. Head back up to the top, hit center on that. Actually, you know what? Center would look nice. I'm gonna fight that. I'm gonna give it a frame. I think that's all we want to do for that. What's under rendering? Can I also give it a shadow? No. That's all right. Let's go back to our map and click on the symbology for the layer. And I'm going to pick, what was that one called? Sign Painter? That almost looks fancy and nice. Let's pick a different font. No, that also kind of looks nice, honestly. If I was doing an old fantasy map, that font might look good. Oh, this one looks like it could be bad. All right, whatever. I'm not going to fight it for too long. Let's refresh this one. Cool. I don't like that the lines are above the star, but we're going to leave that as is. I'm going to also give this a frame. Let's make its thickness 0.5. Some rounded borders on it. All right. And I am going to give it some attribution. If If I was trying to be a really bad map, I would not do that, but it's always good to give attribution, even if you're having a laugh. All right. So base map is OpenStreetMap. And then I'm going to say birth locations, Wikipedia. And let's make sure that that is readable. I'm going to align this to the bottom and to the right. And I'm going to move up the map a little bit to make it I want to remove the border on the title because I think it looks bad, but I'm also fighting that. All right, I think that is good. I feel like I could work harder to make it bad, but I don't want to work too hard on this one. So I'm going to save that layout, and then I'll do the usual thing of exporting. If you've been following along, you know how to do that by now. So that is a quick bad map. See you tomorrow.